So I want you to picture a classic diner burger. It arrives at your table, steam coming off the bun, maybe a perfect order of thick-cut fries on the side.
Oh, yeah, the perfect setup.
Right. But if you lift that top bun, what is sitting right there, wedged between the tomato and the cheese, for decades, for, well, almost all of us, it has been that exact same thing.
Just a pale, watery, incredibly rigid wedge of iceberg lettuce.
Exactly. Or, maybe picture a standard side salad, just a massive bowl of that same shredded, sort of translucent iceberg that's absolutely buried under a heavy pour of ranch dressing.
Yeah, I mean, in that context, it basically functions as a universal garnish,
Yeah.
right? It's almost more architectural than nutritional at that point.
Yeah.
It's serving as this sort of crunchy, empty green filler that adds texture, but really very little else.
Right, and because of that lingering image, the entire produce aisle, but specifically the lettuce section, has earned this really terrible reputation.
Oh, absolutely.
We tend to see it as this, bland, mandatory diet food. It's what you eat when you're cutting calories, right?
Yeah, the classic diet plate.
Because it's 96% water, it has virtually no deep color, and we just assume we're eating crunchy air. Well, welcome to this deep dive, because our mission today is to completely change the way you look at the produce aisle.
We really are.
We are going to rescue your salad bowl from the watery trap of iceberg lettuce, and we have a really fascinating stack of sources to do it. We're looking at a recent botanical health script alongside this deep dive nutritional chemistry paper that completely upends the whole crunchy air myth.
Yeah, and the central thesis we're exploring from these texts is that lettuce, well, when you actually know what you're looking at and how to choose correctly, it is definitely not some empty diet filler.
Not at all.
It is a highly targeted powerhouse of vitamins, minerals, and protective plant pigments. Today, we are effectively decoding the color code of plants.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if iceberg is the villain here, or, I mean, at least the incredibly boring extra in this movie, we need to understand the biological reason why it falls short.
Right.
Like, how did we get to a place where we equate all greens with this pale wedge? And, what are we missing when we do?
Well, it comes down to fundamentally misunderstanding what makes a plant valuable to the human body at a cellular level.
Okay.
As noted in the source material, iceberg is, like you said, 96% water, and it totally lacks deep pigmentation. And in the botanical world, there is a golden rule for the salad bowl, and it is this: follow the color pigment.
Follow the pigment, meaning the green or red hue of a leaf isn't just cosmetic?
Exactly. No, it's a direct indicator of its chemical profile. In the plant kingdom, color equals armor.
Armor.
Yeah, armor. The deeper the darker and the more vibrant the leaf is, the harder that plant had to work to survive against environmental stress.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about harsh, direct sunlight, wind exposure, insects, and drastic temperature fluctuations.
Because a plant can't exactly run away from a threat.
Right. It has to stand its ground. It has to manufacture its own chemical defenses to survive. So it responds to those stressors by producing protective compounds, which are these pigments. And those are essentially dense networks of antioxidants.
So a plant's vibrant color is essentially a battle scar, like a callus on a weightlifter's hand, or a tan that proves it survived the elements.
What's fascinating here is that that analogy holds up remarkably well when you look at the biochemistry.
Really?
Yeah, it really is an exchange of chemical armor. When you consume a pale, indoor-grown, or heavily sheltered leaf, like, say, the tightly bound inner core of an iceberg lettuce head, you are eating a plant that hasn't fought any battles.
Because it's been protected.
Exactly. It has been shielded from the sun and the wind. It literally has no chemical armor to give you.
Wow.
But when you eat a deeply pigmented leaf, you are ingesting a complex matrix of antioxidants that your own cells then use to defend against oxidative stress and systemic damage. You are actively borrowing the plant's evolutionary survival strategy.
We are borrowing their survival strategy. I love that. Let's apply this new rule of environmental stress as armor to the produce aisle.
Let's do it.
The source material points us right away to a staple that most of us probably already have in our fridge right now, but we might not be giving it enough credit. Romaine.
Oh, romaine is fantastic.
Right. If we look at how romaine grows compared to a tight, pale head of iceberg, it has a completely different structural approach. It grows in these sturdy, open, upright stalks.
And that structural difference is everything. Because of that open, upright architecture, the leaves are constantly exposed to direct sunlight.
Which is the stressor.
Exactly. That intense sun exposure is a major environmental stressor. To protect itself from radiation, the romaine plant synthesizes massive amounts of protective pigments. This adaptation is what makes romaine an absolute titan of vitamin A and beta-carotene.
Right. Our sources noted that just a couple of cups of crisp romaine can deliver over 80% of your daily vitamin A requirement.
It's incredible.
And we know vitamin A is critical for immune cell function, skin integrity, and sharp visual acuity. But the mechanism here is what's fascinating to me.
Yeah, form dictates function.
Exactly. The plant isn't making beta-carotene for us. It's making it as a biological sunscreen to protect its own cellular machinery from UV radiation. The open leaves mean it must handle the sun, and the beta-carotene is the resulting armor.
Right, and because the plant is growing vigorously in that sunlight, it also packs in folate, which is a nutrient essential for cellular replication and DNA synthesis.
Oh, that's great.
But the most crucial element the sources highlight in romaine is its exceptionally high level of vitamin K.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because we usually just think of romaine as a crunchy vehicle for Caesar dressing, right? But is its nutritional power entirely due to its architectural shape reaching for the sun?
Well, yes, but what it does for us is profound. Since our audience is generally well-versed in cardiovascular health, we already know that calcium buildup, or calcification, in the arteries is a major cardiovascular risk factor.
Definitely.
The deep dive texts emphasize that vitamin K acts as a sort of biological traffic cop for that calcium, which is an incredible function for a simple salad green to perform.
A traffic cop for calcium.
Yeah, the mechanism behind that traffic control is fascinating. Vitamin K activates specific proteins in the body, most notably osteocalcin.
Okay.
And osteocalcin takes the calcium from your bloodstream and binds it directly into the bone matrix where it belongs.
Wow. So it puts it in the bones.
Right. And simultaneously, vitamin K activates another protein called matrix GLAF protein, or MGP, inside the blood vessels. MGP actively sweeps calcium out of the arterial walls.
So by eating that romaine, you are providing your body with the exact micronutrient it needs to ensure calcium hardens your skeleton rather than hardening your arteries.
Exactly.
It maintains vascular elasticity.
By keeping those blood vessels flexible and compliant, you aren't just eating a salad ingredient, you are engaging in advanced vascular maintenance.
That's wild.
You are keeping your entire cardiovascular highway system operating efficiently.
Okay, so romaine uses its upright structure to soak in the sun, creating this incredible green armor that translates to vascular flexibility for us.
Spot on.
But the source material doesn't stop at the green spectrum. To understand how plants use different forms of chemical defense, we need to look at the red hues. That leads us right to red leaf lettuce, which is a total visual standout in the grocery store. It has that gorgeous, deep burgundy fringe on the edges of the leaves.
And keeping our golden rule in mind, that color is armor. That red fringe is a highly specialized protective adaptation.
Right.
That burgundy color comes from a class of compounds called anthocyanins.
Right, and anthocyanins are those incredibly potent polyphenols. It's the exact same chemical compound that gives blueberries their blue color and red cabbage its deep purple hue.
Exactly the same.
So having red leaf lettuce in your bowl is chemically similar to throwing in a handful of antioxidant-rich berries. But how are those anthocyanins actually functioning once they get into our system?
Good question.
We know they combat systemic inflammation, but the cellular action is what really drives the point home.
Yeah, well, at the cellular level, systemic inflammation and aging are largely driven by free radicals.
Right, the unstable molecules.
Yeah, they're missing an electron. They aggressively seek out and steal electrons from your healthy cells, causing a cascade of cellular damage, particularly in the delicate endothelial lining of your blood vessels.
H is bad news.
Very bad. But anthocyanins from that red leaf lettuce act as electron donors. They cross into your bloodstream and physically hand over their own electrons to neutralize those free radicals.
They stop the oxidative cascade before it can tear through the vascular lining. It's a literal chemical shield.
It is. And because they neutralize that threat, your body doesn't have to trigger a massive inflammatory response. So that red fringe on the lettuce is actively preserving the structural integrity of your cardiovascular network.
I am fully on board with the red fringe as chemical armor. I mean, that makes total sense.
It really does.
But if we follow the evolutionary logic, what happens when a plant relies on physical texture and internal sap instead of, sun-drenched pigments?
Shifting gears a bit.
Yeah, that brings us to the softer varieties in the produce aisle. Butterhead lettuce. We're talking Boston and Bibb varieties.
The really tender ones.
Right, they don't have deep red armor or rigid sun-reaching stalks. They have a soft, almost velvety texture. But our sources revealed a historical secret about butterhead that shows a completely different type of plant defense.
Yeah, this is so interesting. The botanical name for the true lettuce family, Lactuca sativa, actually points directly to this secret.
How so?
Well, the word lactuca shares a root with lactation or milk. This refers to a milky, white fluid found in the stems and base of the plant, known as lacticarium.
Lacticarium, which historically was known as lettuce opium, which is just a wild name.
It is a bit dramatic.
Obviously, we need to keep this grounded for everyone listening. No one is going to fail a drug test or pass out at the dinner table from eating a bowl of Boston Bib lettuce.
No, definitely not.
So what does this all mean for the listener? Should we be eating butterhead salads as a nighttime routine instead of drinking chamomile tea?
Well, while it won't knock you out, the traditional herbalist application is a brilliant example of how ancient medicine recognized the subtle, real properties of plant chemistry long before modern science.
Right. They didn't have mass spectrometers.
Exactly. Traditional herbalists were highly observant of biochemical effects. They didn't view these plants merely as food, they viewed them as subtle medicine.
Oh, that's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, they praised lacticarium for its mild, sedative, and calming properties. They would actually harvest the sap, dry it, and use it in preparations to soothe the nervous system, quiet persistent coughs, and, help patients unwind tension.
It's a brilliant example of reading the chemistry of food. The plant uses that bitter, milky sap to deter pests from eating its soft leaves, and humans figured out how to use that exact same sap to modulate the parasympathetic nervous system.
It really highlights the profound connection between plant stress adaptations and human physiological regulation. The subtle plant chemistry in these softer lettuces can gently support a relaxed state at the end of a long day.
And what the sources make very clear about mixing these dark and colored varieties, the rigid romaine, the polyphenol-rich red leaf, the silky butterhead, is the sheer math of it all.
The math is unbeatable.
They highlight the incredible volume to calorie ratio. You can eat a massive bowl of these greens, getting a heavy dose of fiber, cellular hydration, and all these highly active micronutrients we're talking about for fewer than 20 calories a serving.
From a nutritional standpoint, it's an unparalleled biological bargain.
A bargain, yeah.
You are filling the physical volume of your stomach, hydrating your cells with structured plant water, and flooding your systemic circulation with protective armor, all with essentially zero metabolic tax on your body.
Wow.
It supports a highly functioning, well-defended system without requiring massive digestive energy.
All right, so we've covered the true lettuce family, the Lactuca sativa crew, with their sun shields, their red pigments, and their milky sap.
We have.
But there is an imposter in the salad bowl. A very popular green that sneaks in under false pretenses, operating under a completely different set of botanical rules.
Oh, yes. It is the ultimate biological outlier of the salad world. It doesn't rely on structural armor or deep color pigmentation.
We are talking about arugula. Botanically, it is not a true lettuce at all. It's a member of the cruciferous or mustard family, alongside broccoli, cabbage, and radishes.
Right. Totally different family tree.
And because it's cruciferous, it uses chemical warfare as its primary weapon, specifically sharpness and bitterness.
That intense flavor profile is highly engineered by the plant.
Wait, arugula is basically a mustard. A lot of people avoid it because it's too bitter.
Yes, that peppery bite is intense for some.
The sharp peppery bite comes from glucosinolates, which are sulfur compounds. I like to think of it like strong medicine. Often a bitter taste is actually the plant's way of telling you, like, this is working. But from an evolutionary standpoint, we are hardwired to view bitterness as a warning. Right? A biological alarm bell that says, stop eating this, it might be poisonous.
This raises an important question regarding how humans perceive taste. That evolutionary hurdle is significant. For millennia, bitterness was our primary detector for alkaloids and toxins.
That kept us alive.
Exactly. But in the context of these specific cruciferous phytonutrients, our modern understanding of nutritional biochemistry flips that biological alarm on its head.
Really?
Yeah. When you chew arugula, you are physically breaking apart the plant's cell walls. That mechanical action mixes an enzyme called myrosinase with those glucosinolates, activating them into highly potent compounds called isothiocyanates.
And the sources detail exactly what those activated compounds do. I know that phase 2 liver detoxification is the critical step where our body actually neutralizes toxins so they can be safely flushed out.
Yes.
And these sulfur compounds from arugula act as a direct catalyst for that exact process.
The liver is basically a two-step chemical processing plant. Phase 1 grabs onto toxins, environmental pollutants, metabolic waste, heavy metals, and oxidizes them.
Okay, sounds good.
But doing so often makes those toxins temporarily more volatile and reactive. Phase 2 is the vital step where the liver attaches a new molecule to that volatile toxin, neutralizing it and making it water-soluble for safe excretion.
So how does the arugula fit in?
The specific sulfur compounds activated by the bitter bite of arugula physically upregulate the enzymes required for that Phase 2 machinery.
So that peppery bite is quite literally turning the gears in your liver to ensure those volatile toxins don't just recirculate in your bloodstream.
Exactly.
That completely changes the culinary experience of that flavor. It's not just a taste preference, it's a physiological trigger for detoxification.
The bitterness is the verifiable proof that the chemistry is active. And that's not the only specialized trick arugula has up its sleeves. The source texts also highlight that it is exceptionally rich in naturally occurring dietary nitrates.
Now, our listeners are likely very familiar with the trend of endurance athletes using beet juice for its high nitrate content to improve blood flow and athletic performance.
Oh yeah, very popular.
But dietary nitrates from whole plants act very differently in the body compared to, say, the synthetic nitrates used as preservatives in processed meat.
The biochemical context is entirely different. When you consume the natural plant-bound nitrates in arugula, the bacteria in your mouth and the enzymes in your body convert them into a molecule called nitric oxide.
And nitric oxide is a potent vasodilator. It signals the smooth muscle inside the blood vessels to relax, causing the vessels to widen.
Exactly. And by widening the blood vessels, you are decreasing the resistance against which your heart has to pump. This actively manages and lowers blood pressure.
That's amazing for cardiovascular health.
It is. Furthermore, it optimizes athletic endurance because you are delivering more oxygen-rich blood and nutrients to your working muscles with significantly less effort from your cardiovascular system. Arugula is an incredible, low-calorie, easily accessible source for activating this exact nitric oxide pathway.
So again, the overriding biological rule here is that the intense bitterness in these greens is a clear cue that highly powerful phytonutrients are actively altering your systemic function for the better.
It's all connected.
We've gone from iceberg lettuce, which is essentially just water trapped in a pale, sheltered matrix, to romaine guiding calcium into our bones with vitamin K.
Quite the upgrade.
Right. We've looked at red leaf fighting endothelial damage with the electron-donating power of anthocyanins, butterhead offering subtle nervous system regulation through its historic sap, and arugula literally widening our blood vessels and up-regulating our liver detox pathways.
When you synthesize all of this data, it forces a profound shift in perspective. You aren't just tossing a side dish together. You are compounding a preventative prescription for your own long-term cellular health.
So, to bring this all together for you listening right now, the ultimate mission of this deep dive was to get you to rethink the produce aisle based on the actual chemistry of the plants.
Yes.
The practical takeaway here is straightforward. The next time you are standing there looking at the wall of greens, leave the pale iceberg behind. Respect the pigment.
Mix it up.
Build yourself a bowl that mixes the deep green, sun-soaked resilience of romaine, the ruby-fringed polyphenols of red leaf, the silky, calming history of butterhead, and a punchy, bitter handful of arugula to kickstart your liver enzymes and your blood flow.
The goal is to let your salad work as hard for your body as you do. By eating the stress adaptations of the plant, you are borrowing their armor.
Let your salad work as hard as you do. I love that framing. But before we wrap up this deep dive, we always want to leave you with a concept to mull over on your own.
Right.
Looking at all this research, what is the lingering thought we should be taking away from the science of plant armor?
Well, if we fully embrace the foundational rule we've discussed today, that the vibrant color, the dense nutrients, and the powerful bitterness in our greens are entirely created by the plant fighting off environmental stress.
Yeah.
It raises a massive question about the future of our food supply. If the color, nutrients, and bitterness in our greens are entirely created by the plant fighting off environmental stress, what happens to the nutritional density of the salads of the future as we increasingly move towards climate-controlled, stress-free indoor hydroponic farming?
Oh, wow. The shift in how we actually grow these greens.
Consider the massive agricultural shift right now. Hydroponics are highly efficient, they use a fraction of the water, and they produce picture-perfect, pristine greens all year round without the need for pesticides.
Which sounds great on paper.
It does. But if a plant never faces the harsh UV rays of the sun, never feels the physical stress of the wind, and never has to manufacture chemical defenses to fight off a single pest. What happens to the nutritional density of those future salads?
If there is no environmental battle, there is no battle scar.
Exactly. Are we, in our quest for perfect, efficient agriculture, inadvertently breeding the armor right out of our food?
If they don't struggle, they don't build the cellular defenses, and then they have no defenses to pass on to us. That is a massive question to ponder the next time you're deciding between the rugged field-grown greens and the pristine plastic box of hydroponic lettuce.
It's the tension between agricultural efficiency and biochemical density.
What is definitely going to stick with me? The next time you find yourself staring at a diner burger and you see that sad, pale, watery wedge of iceberg sitting there, you'll know exactly what's missing.
It's missing the battle.
It's missing the battle. It's missing the armor. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden chemistry of your salad bowl. Stay curious and go eat some vibrant, stressed out greens.